In every sunrise, the colors of the morning are inside your eyes. The world awakens in the light of the day. I look up to the sky and say, you're beautiful. I see your power in the moonlit night, where planets are in motion and galaxies are bright. We are amazed in the light of the stars. It's all proclaiming who you are. You're beautiful. I see you there hanging on a tree. You bled and then you died and then you rose again for me. Now you are sitting on your heavenly throne. Soon we will be coming home. You're beautiful. When we arrive at eternity's shore, where death is just a memory and tears are no more, we'll enter in as the wedding bells ring. Your bride will come together and we'll say, you're beautiful. I see your face, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I see your face, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I see your face, you're beautiful. You're beautiful, you're beautiful. Hope I was late, taking my heart, making it ache. the strength to carry on, living for you, making us all shine. Seed in my heart is calling for rain, bring a new start, my confidence grows. Lord, you are good, there's no way it's over. When all of my beliefs have gone to waste, maybe I should bow the knee and pray. And then, just when hope was lost, you step into the room, breaking the laws, making us all shine. And joy that makes us strong, with the strength to carry on, living for you, making us all shine. Peacemaker, joy starter, life giver, hope bringer. Peacemaker, joy starter, life giver, hope bringer. Peacemaker, joy starter, life giver. When all of my beliefs have gone to waste, maybe I should bow the knee and pray. When all of my beliefs have gone to waste, maybe I should bow the knee and pray. And then, just when hope was lost, you step into the room, breaking the laws, making us all shine. Joy that makes us strong, with the strength to carry on, living for you, making us all shine. He is jealous for me, loves like a hurricane. I am a tree, bending beneath the weight of his wind and mercy. And all of a sudden I am unaware of these afflictions, eclipsed by glory. And I realize just how beautiful you are and how resides. If grace is an ocean, we're all sinking. Heaven meets earth like an unforeseen kiss. My heart turns violently inside of my chest. I don't have time to maintain these regrets when I think about the way he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Yes, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves. Yes, he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us.
Good morning and welcome to Morecambe Community Church Online. If you're here for the first time, we are a lively, vibrant, friendly community church who seeks to help people in our local community and serve God in that way. And you're really welcome here. We hope you enjoy the service. If you are a regular, hello, I miss you. And I can't wait until we're back again at church and seeing each other and talking to each other and chatting. But for now, I'm sure you'll all agree that Michael and his family are doing an amazing job at helping us to stay connected online with these services. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to really thank him for all the work that he's putting in. I know that it's taken him a long time to make these videos. This is our third take, and so I really thank him for that. So this morning I thought that I would come out into the open air and just share with you some of the views that God has created for us. And while I read a psalm, our cameraman is going to just pan round the local area. So this is Psalm 96, verse 11 to 12. Let the heaven rejoice, let the earth be glad, let the sea resound and all that's in it. Let the fields be jubilant and everything in them. Let all the trees of the forest sing for joy. Amen. So this morning we have a wonderful service planned for you. We have a short story written by Carolyn, and that will be accompanied by the lovely Barbara, who is going to play her harp. I'm sure that will be really special. And then Michael is going to preach on Isaiah 40. And we've also got some music. I'm sure that the music has been contributed by a few people, and we thank them for that. And I just really hope that you enjoy the service. And I look forward to the time when we can all be back together. But we're thankful for MCC Online for now. So let's just pray. Lord, I just thank you for each person watching at this time. And we just pray, Lord, that this morning you would uplift them and that you would fill them with your spirit and just show them your love. And Lord, I thank you for everything that you're doing for people at this time. I thank you that we are able to still continue to deliver food to people. And I thank you for all the people who take part in that. We pray, Lord, that you would just protect us and keep us close to you at this time. For those who are struggling, we pray that they would cry out to you. And Lord, I also pray that we could enjoy this time of peace and just make the most of it. Spend time with our families and spend time with you. Amen. So thank you for joining us, and I really hope that you enjoy the rest of the service. Goodbye.
Everyone knew what I was. Yes, what, not who. There were lots of names used to describe me, none of them nice. I don't remember my mother. My father, well, the names he called me weren't much better than those that came later. I don't think I was ever called daughter. I'll never be called wife or mother. My father ignored me till I was old enough to start earning him some money. It was only then I had any value to him. He arranged it all. Money went directly to him. When he felt like it, he'd throw me a couple of coins. He drank most of it. I didn't have any choice over how I lived. Even after my father died, there was no choice. How could there be? By then it was all I knew, and all everyone knew about me. No one ever loved me. Not loved me. It was just desire. Oh yes, they desired me. They all desired me. But any woman would have done. And they despised me as well. Love never entered into it. It was just a business transaction to most of them, and an embarrassment to the others. I brazened it out, of course. Well, wouldn't you? You can't let them know that the comments get under your skin, especially when you know that they're right. That was what I was. I never thought anything else. I was trash, dirty, tainted. Everyone knew what I was and what I always would be. So I held my head up, and even when the whispered comments were made loud enough for me to hear, I pretended not to mind. I pretended not to care. I pretended it didn't matter. But it did matter. So many late nights, I lay alone on the roof looking at the stars. They stretched away across the sky, so many and so far away. I was just one lost, lonely, empty woman. If I died, no one would mourn. No one would remember me. Would anyone even notice? When I went to the market, I was ignored, although the stallholders were happy enough to take my money. I really tried to enter the synagogue. When I did, those who were my clients by night would shout and chase me away, stones in their hand. Everyone knew I was too sinful to approach God. So how did I come to be in Simon's house that day? How did I dare to do what I did? You might well ask. I'd heard about this guest of Simon's, Jesus. Everyone had. I'd been at the back of the crowd sometimes when he preached and told his stories. I'd heard him talk about judgment and forgiveness. I'd even heard him tell people that they were forgiven. Gossip said that he would talk to anyone, to women, to lepers, to Samaritans. He even had tax collectors amongst his closest followers. Tax collectors. They were shunned almost as much as I was. I wondered if... but I never dared to finish that thought. This particular time, I was standing right at the back of the crowd as Jesus preached, and he looked over them all and directly at me. Yeah, I know, it sounds silly. And through all that crowd, how could he possibly pick out one woman at the back? But I'd swear that he did. That was the only explanation, really, for what happened next. All those people in town, and I went home. I could have made enough money that night to keep me for a month. But I went home. I shut the door. I barred the windows. And then I howled like a baby. Oddly, I slept well. And in the morning, I woke up determined that whatever else I did, I had to find a way to speak to this preacher. To find out something. If he would only let me near. If he would speak to me. I didn't know what I would say. But if I could get near. I looked around for something to give him. But the only thing of value I had was this small alabaster jar of perfume. It seemed hardly suitable, but I thrust it into my pocket. The marketplace was the best place to listen to the gossip, and it didn't take me long to discover that, of course, Simon the Pharisee was hosting a dinner for him. Everyone of any importance would be there, and many more that Simon wanted to impress, as well as those who owed him a favour and would be helping out. I knew there was no chance of Simon hiring me, but his steward, The steward might just be persuaded to let me in, one way or another. Only when I got there, somehow, the idea of getting in that way made me feel sick, and I simply walked through the kitchen door with a crowd of other people, and then made my way quietly to the main room. I was just in time, because as I came in from the corridor, Jesus and some of his followers came in from the street. I watched from the back of the room as Simon rose from his seat at the top of the table and just waved Jesus towards the seat on his right, and then turned and continued his conversation. I watched as Jesus reclined at the table, and I could feel the tears I'd shed the night before pricking at my eyes. I tried to blink them away as I slowly inched my way around the room until I was stood behind him. And then, unable to check the tears that flooded down my face, I fell to my knees. I never thought about this being public. It didn't seem that way. There was me and there was Jesus. I wept away my pain, and he was with me as I did. And then reaching up, I unfastened my hair and let it fall over his feet, wiping away my tears. It was a little thing, but there was nothing else on hand to dry his feet. And having done that, the next act just seemed obvious. I gently kissed each foot, and breaking open the jar of perfume, poured it over the obviously raw, weary feet and rubbed it in. I think it was the smell of the rich perfume that attracted Simon's attention. As I rubbed the oil into the hard patches, the room grew silent, and I heard a rustle from Simon's seat. I tensed, but continued, and to my surprise it was Jesus, not Simon, who broke the silence. He spoke very quietly, directly to Simon, saying he had something to tell him. Old Simon could do nothing but ask him politely to continue, could he? 2 men were in debt to a moneylender, one for 500 coins and one for 50. Neither one could pay, and so the moneylender cancelled both debts. Which one do you think loved the moneylender the most? The tension in the room felt solid. No one spoke. Even I could understand the illusion. Simon made the only reply he could. The one who owed him the most, I suppose, he said, more than a little grudgingly. Then, to my shock, Jesus bent down and lifted my head so that he and Simon could see my face. Jesus continued to speak, and he pointed out that Simon had not offered him the basic courtesies: water for his feet, a kiss of greeting, and oil for his head. And yet I'd washed his feet with my tears, kissed his feet and anointed them. Then he said those words that have burned in my mind forever. Her many sins have been forgiven, as she loved much, but those who have been forgiven little love little. I thought that was it, that maybe I should retreat. But Jesus helped me to my feet, and looking directly at me, he repeated those life-changing words. I'd heard him say them to others, but never dared hope it was for me. Your sins are forgiven. Your faith has saved you. Go in peace. And I went, not to return to what I was, but in the direction he gestured with his hand, to join those women who followed him. As I wiped his feet, he wiped away what I was, and has made me who I am.
your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls each of them by name. Because of his great power and mighty strength, not one of them is missing. Why do you say, "O Jacob," and complain, "O Israel"? My way is hidden from the Lord. My cause is disregarded by my God. Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint.
A good old rant to the Lord. I think the passage that Shirley just read sounds like that to me. A good old rant. A bit of venting before the pressure from boiling inside blows the pot. And most people need one every now and then, either to themselves or to someone else. Remember the video that went round a while ago with this lady saying, "Ain't nobody got time for that"? Or the other week I noticed somebody, witnessed somebody in Asda. There was a family of 3 wanting to go shopping. Of course he can't do that at the moment, so the security guard turned the dad away and the son, and he like, "Oh, you're just a joke." And he just needed to vent his frustration, I guess. This week I saw a woman with some walking difficulties and 2 heavy bags of shopping cross the road near Impact, and as she was in the middle of the road, this car comes flying round, beeping his horn really loudly, you know. There was no need for that, but I guess the driver just needed to vent his frustration at general life at the moment by beeping his horn really loudly. He had to rant with his car horn, you know, really? So is it okay to rant to the Lord? Well, yeah, I think it is. God even published some of those rants in the book of Psalms, which we talked about last year. Is it his favourite form of communication? No. Philippians 4 verse 6 says this: "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." I think that's a better way. You know, and fair play, it's a better form of communication altogether. You usually get a better response that way. Just remember that as we are in each other's space all the time at the moment. But God can take a rant. Verse 27 in Isaiah 40. "Why do you complain, Jacob? Why do you say, Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, my cause is disregarded by my God?" And I hear there in the background a bit of a rant. I can imagine the rant that had caused the prophet to hear those words from God. He's probably somewhere in exile, not even as a refugee, but by forced relocation as a prisoner. Strange times in a strange land, strange people. Everything is different. Nobody knows when it will end. Will it ever end? Sounds a little bit too familiar to us at the moment. You just don't understand God. You just don't care. Usual response to an uncalled for rant? Well, thank you very kindly for pointing that out. And now, shut your face and walk away. But no, our God, our good and gracious God, responds differently. Verse 26 to 28 says this: "Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls forth each of them by name, because of his great power and mighty strength. Not one of them is missing. Why do you complain? Why do you say, Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, my cause is disregarded by my God? Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. Now that's a different kind of response. That's not God going all defensive on you and taking the huff. And then it says in verse 29, he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. How does he give power to the faint and increase the strength of the weak? How do you access that? Well, you run to the Lord. Run, Forrest, run. No, wait, you don't actually run to, you wait upon the Lord. Those who wait upon the Lord will renew their strength. What does that even mean, waiting upon? You're probably thinking, not some more waiting, please. So what's the difference between having a run to the Lord and waiting upon him? One of the commentaries that I read termed waiting upon the Lord as having an expectant attitude of faith. That sounds really good, although it also sounds rather heroic. But in reality, I believe faith shows itself more in being tired, weary, stumbling, even falling, quivering, clinging on, sort of mustard seedy, in my experience anyway. And that reminds me of the story that Carolyn so brilliantly described. Jesus and the woman. How does she approach him? Does she run in, blurt out her whole life story with an expectant attitude of faith? She would have had plenty to say, would have had plenty to rant about. And sure, there are other Bible stories where we see that described. Think of the centurion whose faith gets praised by Jesus. But here she kind of just sneaks in and sobs at his feet. Your approach might be even less dramatic than that. You could just close your eyes and go, Jesus, hi, and freshly acknowledge him in your life again. Or you might just need to do a bit of sobbing and reach that low point where all you can do is throw yourself at God's mercy. Or perhaps you need to be as cautiously bold as the woman and make your move towards Jesus. Or all of the above. So how does it give strength? I think it gives strength by showing us his love, acceptance and forgiveness. By showing us and letting us access the regenerative power of unconditional love. The transformational power of acceptance. And the releasing energy and force of forgiveness. I think, that renews our strength. It certainly raised her up as if by wings. When you run and you grow weary, when you walk and faint, but with his strength we can run and not grow weary, and we can walk and not grow faint. Yeah, there's still running and there's still walking to be done. Jesus didn't promise some kind of divine conveyor belt on which we now move. What kind of lifestyle is that even? I always wonder why people do that at the airport. They've just sat on the plane for hours and then they take the escalator instead of the stairs, and then take these strange conveyor belts where everybody just sort of sits and moves, stands and moves rather than just walk a little bit. That's not the kind of lifestyle that Jesus promises us. There's still running and walking to be done. And I think that's the revolution. The weary carry on running and the faint are still walking. Those who stumble and fall are loved, accepted and forgiven. They renew their strength. I think that's the revolution. Verse 26 says this: "Lift up your eyes and look to the heavens. Who created all these? He who brings out the starry host one by one and calls forth each of them by name, because of his great power and mighty strength. Not one of them is missing." You know, last week was Easter, and on Good Friday, Alan read it in our service that around lunchtime, 3 o'clock, whenever, middle of the day, suddenly the whole earth became dark and the sun didn't shine. And I wonder on that Good Friday whether you could actually see the stars. If a star went missing, you know, that would be massive. And I think perhaps, maybe I'm reading into it, I like the idea anyway, that on Good Friday God just stretched out the firmament. God stretched out the heavens and the sky, switched off the lights, and as if to say, look at these. Look at all these. Look, lift your eyes up and look to the heavens. Look at all the stars. Remember Isaiah 40. Look, I take care of all of those. I'm going to take care of you. Not one of those stars is missing. You're not going to go amiss either. Here I am, showing and showering you with the ultimate love, acceptance and forgiveness. Come. Come, have your strength renewed. Let me raise you up on wings like eagles and start a revolution in your life and with your life. Let's pray. Jesus, I thank you that you invite us to come when we are weary, when we're tired, when we're stumbling, when we're falling. Thank you that you invite us when we have fainted, when we're worn out, when we're no longer tired but fast asleep, when we have stumbled and fallen. And that your promise is to renew our strength. And yes, you do that miraculously. You give us strength and energy that we would normally not be able to access. But you also just lift our life to a different level, a different energy level, a different experience, a different stature, a different status by loving us, by accepting us, and by forgiving us. Just like you demonstrated when that woman wiped your feet with her tears and with her hair. So Jesus, we come. We come and ask you that you will take our rants, take our complaints, take our worries and fears and stress and strain. And once again you will stretch out the heavens and say, here, have a look. Look how many stars there are. Not one of them's missing. I also hear you. I do understand. I do care. You're not going to get amiss either. You're not going to go missing. None of your worries are missing. Will go unheard. I'm not going to miss anything about you. And Jesus, I pray that you will renew our strength, that we will indeed run and not grow weary, walk and not grow faint. Thank you for your amazing love, acceptance and forgiveness that re-energizes us, that is transformational and regenerates us into a child of God. Amen.
Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. As we wait upon the Lord, we will wait upon the Lord. Strength will rise as we wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. We will wait upon the Lord. Our God, you reign forever. Our hope, our strong deliverer.
hey, thanks for being with us this morning. It was great to be seen. I can't really see you, but you know the drill by now. Thank you so much for being with us. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe. Remember to share it. You can watch it back and watch it in slow motion if you wish. And we're still here, of course, all of us. So do get in touch. Speak to one another. Ring each other, Facebook message and so on. We as a family, and I think Rachel and Paul, we've all been joining in on a quiz every Wednesday evening, which is great fun. Not always easy, but really, really good fun. With Joe Fisher, Fish for Answers at 7:30 every Wednesday. There's a picture round and quiz sheets and so on. It's quite good fun. It's free, although he does ask for donations towards his wage and towards some fundraising that he does. If you want to join in, let me know and I will share the link with you. Thanks again to our musicians. Thank you to Phil on bass and Emo on keys, and myself on various things. Thank you so much for joining in. Next week is going to be the last Sunday of the month again, so it's our sharing and communion service. So if you're able, please send in your video clips to me probably before Thursday lunchtime. That would be really helpful. Make sure that we can hear you well on the video. Keep it short and sweet. And it'll be nice to have loads of different people sharing again, giving a few thoughts, encouragements, and just generally be together in community. That would be awesome. I wish you a really, really good Sunday. Hope you are all well. Keep safe, and I will see you very soon. God bless.